Why is there so many of them zogging squigs around the camp? Have you boys been messing with the weird ones again? I told you, they's got the power of Galt on their side, and I am running out of grots to clean up the mess when you lot get zapped. Someone get you me gets to shove these squigs back in the pen before they get eaten, and find out what the hell is going on in the Beastnagger camp.
Welcome back to Here We Go, our regular article series looking at the latest upcoming releases for the Orks. After delving into the legend of the Great White Squig last time, we're braving a particularly horrible fate to have a peek at the latest brand of Greenskin's psychic madness. Known as a Wurrboyz, these unsavory characters channel war energy in its most primal, animalistic form, unleashing roiling storms of psychic energy through their foes that leave them as little more than shriveled husks, or worse. Off the battlefield, the Wurrboyz take on what is possibly an even more important role in their tribes. By using their pseudo-shamanistic powers to receive visions from Ork and Mork themselves, they spur their fellow hunters towards the biggest prey around with grand proclamations and barely coherent prophecies. So important is this role in guiding Beastnagger society that they are granted a level of respect far above that of a regular Ork Psyker, seen as divine oracles, rather than dangerous ticking time bombs like the Wurrboyz. The powers channeled by these bestial Psykers stands apart from the usual stomping feet of Gork and random teleportation employed by other Wurrboyz. By far the most alarming of these is the ability to transform enemy soldiers into mindless biting squigs who proceed to cause havoc amongst their own lines. Although the notion of exercising any kind of control over their powers is alien to Orks, Wurrboyz do achieve some measure of focus through the ocular devices known as the Eyes of Mork. While each is as unique as the deranged mech-boy mind that constructed it, these technological marvels all serve to amplify lances of psychic power through the caster's eyes, turning their gaze into a weapon capable of piercing even power armor. With all the respect they're afforded, it wouldn't seem out of place for Wurrboyz to have some kind of transportation on the battlefield, would it? Unfortunately, it looks like our time's up, and we need to skedaddle before this guy decides he needs a few more red and bitey friends around. Join us again soon when we're taking a closer look at exactly who will be arriving in the first wave of Ork pre-orders, and let us know what you're most excited for so far on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Or don't, I really couldn't care less. Goodbye!
Hello, Sydney here, and welcome to the Drunken Ork. So, we've got ourselves a bit more news today, haven't we? And the old Here We Go. I say the old Here We Go. There's been a few of them now, so I think we can call it that. Meet the Ork Psykers who turn mighty heroes into measly squigs. What a headline. What an attention grabber. Got my attention, because I've been kinda hoping this was going to happen. The headline, I mean. So there we go, we've got the bump. I'm not going to go through it all again, you've already heard it probably many times since this video is out very late. But there's the model, the Wurrboy, or a Wurrboy. I like the model, there, I've said it. I've had time to think about it. I like it, I like the pose, I like his build. He's certainly not beefier than those cruel boys. He's just offering himself on to all comers. He's got a very thick pipe coming out, going into his foot. I think it's going into his foot. That's not what sells it. You know, I'm all about a thick pipe. But, you know, I didn't mean that. He just looks a beefy lad. With his orc nipples. Yeah. Cracking model. Cracking. I don't know how big he is. If that's a 32mm base, he's about the size of a knob. If that's a 40mm base, he is a beast. That's it does look a little bit thick for a 32, to be totally honest. I'm thinking, you know, that might be one of the new 28.5mm bases, based on nothing but a hunch. You know, nothing else to go on. Just the fact that if that was a 32mm base, I would expect it to be a little bit thinner. Because all share a similar sort of thickness, or same thickness just about. But by the by, cool model. So let's have a look at some of the rules. We've got here 2 rules. We've got a psychic power and a ranged weapon. Now with psychic power, I don't know if this is sort of one of the psychic powers that's available to him, and he's going to have a psychic keywords, and therefore he'll have smite and potentially squiggly curse, or if he's got to have smite and squiggly curse, or maybe he just gets squiggly curse. It did say he's not like an head banging weird boy, so less perils on the go, but does that mean he also might not get the +1 for every 10 boys or every 10 orc that's within range? If that is the case, then the warp charge value is 7 for squiggly curse is going to be a little bit trickier to hit. It still should be, you know, it's still going to be over 50% of the time, but you know, it's going to be a little bit tricky. But it's safe, isn't it? It's safe. But if that's all he's got to cast, you know, if he doesn't get access to the jump, warpath, and you know, all that sort of stuff, then you know, it might limit him a little bit. But let's have a look at squiggly curse, see if it's worth it. So it says, the wereboy cackles madly as he transforms the foe into a herd of squigs. The now terrified and confused beasts rampaging through their former comrades before bounding away. This is old Zogwart's power. He used to turn people into squigs, and they used to, if successful, you'd replace the model with a squig that you'd provide, and your opponent would then have a squig in their army, instead of, you know, a Primaris captain or what have you. Really good. But does this one have the same effect? This one, Witchfire, which I believe is a direct damage style psychic power. Squiggly curse has a warp charge value of 7. Mentioned that before. If manifested, select one enemy unit within 12 inches of the Psyker, not massive range, and roll 1d6 for each model in that unit to a maximum of 6 dice. Alright. For each result of 4+, that unit suffers 1 mortal wound. So an average of 3, basically. If any models in that unit are destroyed by the psychic power, every other enemy unit within 6 inches of that unit suffers 1 mortal wound. Which I suppose is to say that if you do enough wounds and kill somebody, the transformation's happened, and as the squig runs away, biting and attacking anything in sight, every unit within 6 inches suffers 1 mortal wound. That's not a bad power, game wise. It's got potential to be like a little mini flying headbutt. You know, if people sort of crowd all the units together, if you can get that off on the central unit, boom, doing mortal wounds everywhere. That's not bad. Shouldn't be too hard to cast, and of course you've got the advantage of being able to do it again. You know, next turn, not just like one shot and then you blow up, which is all good. But I'll be honest, when I first read this, I thought it was a mistake. I read that and thought, if it wasn't for the fact that it says squiggly curse has a warp charge value of 7, if it said this psychic power has a warp charge value of 7, I'd have thought they've put the wrong description on that power, because that is not fluffy at all. Which, you know, doesn't it have to be, but considering the one it's based on, the power it's based on was very fluffy, very sort of like orky, very, you know, daft, really. You know, you could essentially turn a hero into a squig which your opponent controls and then use it to chomp you up, you know what I mean? Fantastic. But this is just straightforward, you're doing some damage, let's move on. This is not meant to be fun. This is not a game. War is not a game. Well, it's a war game, but, and I think that's a bit of a shame that we've lost some of that fluffiness. But you know, it is what it is. Next, we've got the ears of Mork. Now, if I was going to misspell eyes, I wouldn't put a Z on the end of eye, because that looks like ears, and it's like, you know, he's not shooting molten green earwax out of his ears. Also, it sounds a little bit like it's like a Sunderland accent, isn't it? Most people out there won't know what I'm talking about, and people from Sunderland are probably going, no, idiot. So, you know, so maybe it's not. But yeah, so range 12, assault 2, strength 6, -3 AP, D3 damage. If I was trying to misspell underwhelmed, how would I do that? I'm not bowled over by it. I think if you're within range, you better be charging as well, because you're going to get charged next turn. Assault 2 from one character, it's not enough to guarantee a hit, or at least it's not enough on average just to even get a hit. Strength 6 is obviously pretty good, but it might be decent against your Gravis and what have you. But it's a funny strength. It's not as bad as 7, which is a strange thing to say since it's lower than 7. But 7 feels like you're getting something, but you're not. With 6, yeah, you've still got that extra, pip. You're getting a 3+ to wound on against toughness 5s and what have you, which includes normal orcs now. But yeah, that's all right. AP -3, that is good, to be fair. That should it gives the Marines and what have you, 6+, and D3 damage. A bit swingy. A lot of people would generally take 2 wounds over D3, just for the guarantee of killing a lot of these 2 wound models. But yeah, it's just it reminds us a lot of the custom Mega Slugger on the mech. You look at it and go, oh, that's a good gun, and you know what? In the hands of a Tech Marine or somebody with hitting on a 3+, yeah, it's pretty decent. But with Ork accuracy, you don't take the Tech Marine. The Tech Marine, dear me. You don't take the Mech Boy. Have I been calling him a Tech Marine all this time? The Mech Boy's got that custom Mega Slugger, but you don't take him for the custom Mega Slugger. In fact, you probably don't take him at all. If you had an extra point of ballistic skill, if he was hitting on 4s, and you might think, do you know what? I'm going to take him because that gun's decent. Last line of defense for me mech guns, way, and that might be the same with the Eyes of Mork. But with a ballistic skill 5, you're not going to hit. Not very reliably, not very often. I don't know he's only got a ballistic skill 5, mind, but it's a safe bet. Yeah, so that's the Eyes of Mork anyway. Well, something else I wanted to do was have a look at the cave painting. Where is it? Here. So there you can see in the background the chariot. It says here, with all the respect they're afforded, it wouldn't seem out of place for the Wurrboyz to have some kind of transportation on the battlefield, would it? I tell you what, these sentences are so clunky. Somebody was given a box of comments for Christmas. Right, so there's the chariot, pulled by some squiggly beasts with some cracking armour on them. Big heavy duty dudes. Nice. There is, I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 orcs on there, I can see, not including the fella at the top. Now if I have a look at the fella at the top, zoom as much as I can here, he has got what looks like a bit of metal on the top of his head. I say a bit of metal, it's not green, so I'm guessing that's going to be some sort of cybernetic. Maybe them ocular devices he's got. The Eyes of Ork, or Mork, or whatever the hell they were. And see that big thick pipe, we can see his big thick pipe hanging down, going into his right leg. See he's got nothing in his right hand. We can't see his left hand, but it's a safe bet. This is him basically. This is the Wurrboy. See the 2 zigzag lightning bolt banners coming out left and right, and what looks like a crossed thing, something crossed on the central banner, which we know is meant to be crossbow. So yeah, that's not a leap of a judgment. So yeah, this is the Wurrboy on the top of that chariot thing. Pretty much exactly. Now, the paint boss is in these cave paintings, exactly. The orc in Mega Armor, exactly. There's a lot of the models are exactly in this. The, I forget his name on the Great White Squig. The Squig, although it's red, and the rider exactly. He's got the claws, he's got the bionic arm, he's got the face, he's got everything. Every model we've seen in here is spot on for what we've been shown. We've got boys in here, shooter boys. There's also boys with sluggers and choppers, which is pretty good, because that to me says we should be getting slugger chopper boys, not just relying on beast snaggers for slugger choppers. There's also the orc with the big shooter on his shoulder. Now is that a new style of big shooter, a new heavy weapon orc? Is that a new looter? Is this something else? There's grots in there. Does that mean we're getting new grots? It's got me every new model to see that I knew nothing about, didn't expect or anything like that. When you look at these cave, the video of the cave paintings, you can spot them, you can see them identical. The person who's done this, the artist for GW, sat there with an actual model, or maybe it's a picture, and he's just copied it as close as he can with, you know, that style. There could be a lot more coming. There really could. We'll see there as well at the end of the article. Join us again soon, where we're taking a closer look at exactly who will be arriving in the first wave of Ork pre-orders. So we know the Beast Snaggers are coming, hopefully soon, and there's going to be some more Orks after that. I don't know if it's going to be one more wave, if it's going to be two more waves, if there's just going to be another wave and it's going to be in October. I do think there's going to be something in October. There's got to be more to come, and I think there's going to be a lot of standard Orks, and by standard Orks I just mean non-Beast Snagger Orks, and I for one can't wait. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and until next time, take care. Bye bye.
By using their pseudo
Right, so basically this is old Swordgrod. Yeah, bug ass every single time.
And find out what the hell is going on in the Beast Snagger camp.
Oh, he's angry, isn't he?